Hi, this is Sally, and welcome to Heart of a Soul. I want to thank everybody that's liking, sharing, and subscribing to my videos. I really appreciate the love and support. I know this video is late. It's late in the day, and I'm ready for bed. I went away for the weekend with my family, and we had a really nice time. We ate and shopped and visited my grandmother's gravesite. And it's not something that we ever really done before, so I was happy to be a part of it. Um, so after I got in yesterday, I've just really been trying to rest and catch up on some of the work that I didn't get to over the weekend, but no excuses, right? We're going to keep doing what we got to do. We're going to keep pushing forward. And that's why I'm insistent on getting this video out to you guys, no matter how late it is. So like I said, I got to spend the weekend with my family, and although it was really nice, I got to hear 5 days worth of stories. Stories and more stories and more stories. And it was interesting because I got to hear about where a lot of my issues started from for me. A lot of my own issues, where they started, and how I got to think about how many I've actually overcome, things, and appreciate a lot of the stuff that I didn't have to go through and that I didn't experience. But it also made me stop and reflect about some of the ones I still do have to work on. And I have to admit, it was a long weekend, and it kind of drained me of my energy because these stories were full of anger and hate, resentment, lies, deceit, adultery, abuse, neglect, greed, bitterness, and everybody blamed everybody. And it was hard. It was hard to hear all these stories for days in a row, but I embraced it, and I wanted to sit in it because I wanted to feel that, to remind myself I never want to feel it again. And that is something that I refuse to pass down to my children. Now, these are what you call generational curses. And to me, they are an accumulation, a compilation of beliefs, practices, negative patterns that were passed down from generation to generation. And as children, we look to our parents for guidance, to for everyday life. And we believe what they say because they're the adults. They go to work, they pay the bills, they feed us. They must know everything, right? They know everything there is to know about life. So everything they taught us, we believe it. And unfortunately, what happens a lot of the time is that we grow up to be adults and never change those patterns. And we don't find anything that's true to ourselves. So we end up living the same life our parents lived. And some of these things are spoken, like teaching us how to cook and clean, how to drive a car. But a lot of things are not. And we fall victim to it. Maybe some of you had parents that were addicted to drugs or alcohol. Maybe they were compulsive gamblers, compulsive shoppers. And these are and for me, I had really bad anxiety, which I know was passed down from my mother and her sisters, from their mother, And these are things that aren't taught to us, that we witness and believe that that's how we're supposed to respond to certain situations, or that's how we're supposed to live our life, that we think we're supposed to drink to have a good time, or things like that. So even the idea and beliefs around our health. So studies are starting to show that things like high blood pressure and diabetes are not hereditary. They are results of habits just passed down from generation to generation. So if you eat like your parents did, and they eat like their parents did, and every generation, 5 generations ago, and everybody had high blood pressure and everybody had diabetes, then chances are if you eat like that, then you will too. How do we break these curses? So for me, it's first acknowledging the unhealthy behaviors. If you see that you're doing some of the things your parents did, and maybe it might not be exactly the same. Maybe you're not addicted to drugs or alcohol, but you are addicted to shopping, or you are a compulsive cleaner. You're trying to control something. You're trying to fill an empty void. If we could acknowledge some of these unhealthy patterns, then we could start to decide what is best for us. If you know that that's not a life that you want to live, or those aren't lessons that you want to pass down to your children, or have in your relationship, start to think about what you do want in your relationship. Think about your health. If you have health problems, what can you do to change? You could diet, you could exercise, you could cut out old habits. Maybe you watch too much TV, maybe whatever it is. If we could acknowledge it and decide that that's something in our life that we want to change, then go for it. And then we can start working on a relationship with ourselves, with our kids, and our friends, and work towards that. Now, I'm going to be honest. You might start to lose some friends. You might have to end some relationships. And because people are still in their habits, and they're going to try to draw you back to your old habits, and draw you back to being agreeable to that habit, because maybe that's what you guys had in common. You would go out drinking together, you would go out and get high together. But if that's an aspect that you're trying to change in your life, and that other person isn't, you guys might not be getting along anymore. You might not have anything in common anymore. And they want you to validate that it's still okay to keep those unhealthy habits, but stand firm in your own beliefs. They don't need to understand or even accept it, but the right people will respect it and support you, and those are the people that you want to have around you. And I know my kids don't understand nor even think about why I do what I do, and they probably think I'm freaking crazy. But all I know is that I'm doing my best with where I'm at today. And I know it's far different than what it was 10 years ago. And again, this is one of those things that doesn't happen overnight. It's going to take a long time. And you could change things. You could change something about yourself. And it's all part of growth. And this is the whole idea, is to continue to grow. And so once you feel like you changed one area of your life, you stop and contemplate and think, you know what, I think I could work better on that. You know what, I'm not going to teach my kids that. You know, that doesn't really work for me anymore. And if we could work towards those every day, just a little bit every day, you'll start to see a change, and you'll start to feel better about yourself. I know I did. And now I'm in a place where, you know what, I could listen to those stories, acknowledge that how much it did affect me, and be grateful that I have the mind to say, you know what, that's not good for me. You know what, that's not good for my family. And to stand firm in my belief. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing. And it's a long, hard, uphill, windy road, and none of this is easy, you know. But we keep pushing forward, and as long as you have that eagerness and that drive in your heart, you will go far, and you will be closer every day to that person that you want to be. And that's what I encourage you to do. Stay true to yourself. So I hope this video helps to get you to start thinking outside of the generations. Start thinking outside yourself. Start thinking outside of your parents, and find out what works for you. And there's a lot of areas to work on, and this is just one of them. So again, I hope this video helps. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. Good night.